the City of Johannesburg says it will be putting measures in place to address the housing backlog that faces the province. And that's as the Kaserne building in Jeppestown was demolished this morning by the Johannesburg Housing Department. That building experienced 3 fires in recent years, the latest one claiming the lives of 9 people last year. The aim now is to look for sites and construct some kind of housing on these properties. Joburg Mayor Mpho Phalatse says that the demolition site will now be turned into a construction site where 1,500 units for affordable housing will be built.
Today is a major milestone for housing development in the City of Johannesburg. It's also a major milestone for the reclaiming of the Joburg inner city. We're here where we've just witnessed the implosion of the Kaserne building. As you know, this building caught fire 3 times. The last incident happening in April of last year, where many lives, 9 lives were lost because of this fire that resulted from illegal electricity connections. There is a huge housing crisis in the City of Johannesburg. Our housing waiting list is now at 480,000. We don't have nearly sufficient resources to provide that many houses. We are looking at different modalities for meeting the housing needs in the City of Johannesburg, and this is going to be one of those investments where, following this implosion, we're going to be redeveloping this area. The housing department is busy with a township establishment in this area where about 1,500 units will be housed right here and around. We will, of course, also be introducing social amenities. I'm not here alone. We've got the MMC for housing, the MMC for community development, the MMC for health, because a proper township is an inclusive township, and it's got to be a place where people can live, work and play, not only with shelter but also with various other social amenities that they may require.
Let's stay with that story. Ahmed Kajee is following developments, and he joins us now from the Joburg inner city. And Ahmed, so much been said about, where the people who used to stay in this building, which is now being demolished, being relocated. I guess that explains where you are right now.
Yes, indeed, Ayanda. And a big part of the narrative today coming out from this particular event, apart from the implosion and the inner city redevelopment program by Dr. Mpho Phalatse, the City of Johannesburg mayor, is perhaps the challenges around housing that the residents of Johannesburg are facing as well. This is the area where this is the location exactly where the Kaserne building is currently based, and just after 10 o'clock this morning it was successfully imploded. We had spoken to a few of the construction officials, and they say that development and perhaps some sort of reconstruction will be starting tomorrow. This particular rubble will be used with regards to the foundation, to be used as the foundation for the next building as well. But as I'm going to pan onto the right-hand side, and we had discussed just about 30 minutes ago or so when we had chatted last, that the housing in and around this particular area it's perhaps even at a crisis level, one may argue as well. And a part of that was around shack fires, around illegal electricity connection, and illegal electricity connections being the cause of various fires in and around the city of Johannesburg. And you will see all of those informal settlements at the top of your page, Ayanda. Those are all illegal electricity connections going down and perhaps servicing illegal, perhaps informal settlements as well. And these are some of the challenges which many of these residents are facing, and will obviously want this particular development to actually be bringing them some sort of adequate housing and actually formal housing. And that's what many of these particular residents are actually saying. The mayoress says 1,500 people will be housed in this particular area once it actually is successfully built as well, once construction has been completed. But what we also have seen, Ayanda, is that job development is also an important part of what we have seen is as part of Dr. Mpho Phalatse's plan as well. But, Ayanda, you'll see all around in this particular area, the housing crisis and the need for housing is exceptionally important. 1,500 people will be housed in this particular area, according to the mayor. But in terms of timelines and when we can expect that to begin, the MMC, as within the Department of Housing in the City of Johannesburg, has not given an indication as to when we can expect any sort of developments and concrete deadlines on when we perhaps will expect perhaps the first foundations to be laid, and various other aspects when it comes through to construction as well. And I think it's important to also just get to that element of what people on the ground are actually saying as well. And I'm going to actually be joined by one of the residents from this particular area. Thank you very very much for your time. How is it, can you maybe just take us through how it is living in an area like this with the informal settlements?
Oh, okay. If you're living in this area, you experience every moment of this area. But they promise us that they can build us the houses there. I'm happy that there is the demolition of this building for now.
Do you think the government will come through with their promises for you to give you adequate housing from this particular area into the promises to this development?
I think that the government, they will keep the promises to build us the housing of this area, and they could promises others. They say that they'll build the houses and everything that they will give us.
Thank you very much for your time today. So, Ayanda, there seems to be hope from some residents in and around this particular area, perhaps optimistic that this development will provide them with adequate housing, adequate jobs as well. That's what Dr. Mpho Phalatse says that she really wants to bring as a part of her tenure as the mayor of the city of Johannesburg. In terms of the department coming through, they say various other buildings in and around the city of Johannesburg have been identified for further development. The first aspect of it will be with regards to houses, will be with buildings which do not have any occupants in it, because those do not need any emergency relocation. And in the second element of it, and perhaps the second objective will then be to focus on buildings which already have illegal occupants already, who will then have to be moved to a separate area, and then development on those buildings can begin. But in terms of developments from this particular area, we'll have to wait from the city of Johannesburg and the MMC Mulungise Mabaso to give us a concrete date on when we can expect some sort of developments. Ayanda.
Ahmed Kajee, thanks very much indeed for that. Ahmed Kajee is live to us there from the Joburg inner city as we keep watching that story.